What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Spill the Beans podcast.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. So this is the start of our Christmas decor, guys. Hobby Lobby, 60% off of all their Christmas decor. Go right now, sponsor me, please. Because I'm not getting paid to say this, but we got most of this at Hobby Lobby for a really good price.
Yep.
So if you guys are looking to get Christmas decor, new Christmas trees, they are a really, really good price at Hobby Lobby. So dang, that sounded like a sponsor, not sponsored. Hey, but run me my check.
Yeah, guys, hope you like the new little setup. Personally, I thought it was a little bit too early, but Blanca over here says, you know what, the more the merrier. And I was like, you know what, actually, Christmas is a little too short if you start in December. So this is my first time starting it in November. So let's see how it goes.
Honestly, I don't think we're the only ones. I've seen a lot of our friends already buying Christmas decor. So I was like, I'm just going to do it because it's just going to be such a happier time. So we put away all of our fall decor. So we're going straight into Christmas, guys. And yeah, so I don't know. Let us know what you think. We're going to be adding some, taking some out. But for now, this is the beginning.
Yep, guys. Let's go ahead and start with the weather for today. You guys really like the segment. For me, it's like not like an ad, but I just feel like I have this funny screenshot actually, so I can put into perspective what I'm trying to say. This girl said, I'm just going to say your name because it's funny. Liz SG said, me watching the podcast, waiting for my car to heat up after I scraped the ice off, wondering where the 71-degree Denver weather is at. And that was my same exact thought, babe, because obviously I turned on the podcast super early on Friday, and I think I had a haircut. So I had to leave the house like at 5:30, and it was so freaking cold and so much ice on the windshield. And I was like, damn, I really told these people it was going to be 71 degrees. But I guess that's what happens when you read the weather like a whole week before. And
also when you have bipolar weather, because we were expecting snow, but not the snow that we got. Like we got a full on, like not snowstorm, but we got pretty good amount of snow. It just accumulates. So we do want to apologize for that. Yeah,
but I did get somewhere it was accurate, you know. So for those people, they're like, oh, thank you so much. Like I get ready in the mornings and then you say the weather and it kind of like prepares me for the day. So I don't know if you're lying, but shout out to you, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, who do you want me to start with, babe?
Let's do Denver. Let's go with
I'm gonna start with Chicago though.
Oh, thanks.
Nah, it's because a lot of the comments last week was Chicago, babe.
Okay.
We have a lot of support in Chicago. I think meet and greet in Chicago soon.
Oh, shit.
Just kidding.
At the Durango Fest or Duranguense Fest?
Oh my God. Hey, if you guys went to the Duranguense Fest last time, because when was it, babe?
It was last month, I think. Yeah. Or September.
No, it was a while ago, babe.
I think it was September or August. I don't know.
But yeah, that looks super fun. And I wanted to show off my moves, but nadie nos invitó ya. So Chicago, as of right now, guys, Friday, you're looking at 61 degrees, a little cloudy, lows of 32. So obviously, I mean, I think for Chicago, 61 is good because didn't like last year, they had like some emergency, like, you know how there's like tornado warnings?
Yeah.
They had like a cold one. Like it was going to be like -20, like homeless were like getting shelter. Remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Mm-mm. Oh, damn. I mean, probably just made that shit up.
We probably did.
No, okay. Let's go with Denver. Let's go. Friday, you guys are looking at 41 degrees. It's sunny, but since we live right next to the mountains, I feel like it can be 41 and sunny.
Well, sucks for you because I'm not going to be here.
Thanks, babe. You're just going to tell him like that? Let's go with Phoenix because we're also going to be in Phoenix on Friday, guys. Let's go with Friday, 70 degrees. I hope it stays like that.
Dude, Gabby's going to be out there with a full-on beanie. I already know.
And a sweater and everything.
She yesterday on Instagram, she's like, it's that type of weather. It was literally like 60 degrees. I'm like, girl.
And then in honor of us also being in LA this weekend, Friday, we're looking at 68 cloudy.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I hope it's
I think we're partying outside, right?
So, it says it's raining
so
right now.
if in LA it's going to be, what is it, 50?
60.
60, then in Santa Barbara it's going to be a little bit colder.
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh.
Damn, baby, we're just going to leak where we're going to go.
Sorry.
What other do you want, babe? What other city?
I think that's it. No?
For today? Oh, no. I had this girl. Shout out to Boston, Massachusetts. Let's go Friday. Ooh, 70 degrees, but don't get too excited because you got 40% chance of rain.
Ooh, actually get excited. I love the rain.
Yeah, but I feel like Massachusetts is like cold all the time.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what's funny from last week? All the people was like, damn, you're right. Arkansas is a boring ass state.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. We didn't mean to like roast anyone in the comments. It's just states that we're not common with.
Yeah.
Is that familiar with?
Familiar.
Common. Dang, girl. I need to go to sleep and wake up again.
But they said they have a museum in a forest. Something was famous, like a famous
so like natural
zoo
nature
or
wise,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go, I guess, for the zoo.
Hey, but like, don't you ever wonder, like, these states, like, why are they states? Why didn't they just combine with like another more famous state? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. The US just wanted to have 50 states.
I guess it is kind of a good thing for your state not to be mentioned a lot, you know? Because sometimes you're looking at the news and you're like, when are they ever going to say Colorado? But when they do say something, it's like a shooting. So like, you don't want like people to talk about your state really, unless it's something good, you know? So, yeah, guys, obviously you can tell, okay, that was the weather. First of all, hope you liked it. And, as you can see, I'm wearing my Mexico jersey. So I just wanted to ask you guys who you're supporting in honor of the World Cup starting in about like 10 days from Friday. So we're super excited. I know you're excited, babe, even though you don't show it because Blanca is the biggest bandwagon. I remember when we first started dating, babe,
oh my God.
You did not like soccer at all or like even pay attention. But during the World Cup, you were like tweeting like all about it and shit. Like
I just wanted you to fall in love with me.
Yeah. So then I was like, yeah, honestly, that did add points because she was like, oh my God, Memo Ochoa something. I was like, I was literally watching it. I was like, whoa, like she's watching.
Memo Ochoa is the only freaking soccer player I know.
But yeah, guys, in honor of the World Cup, comment down below who you're supporting this World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Obviously, we know the majority of our audience here is Mexican American, but we do know there's a lot of mixed people out there. You know, maybe your dad's Mexican, but your mom's Brazilian. So you obviously have to support Brazil as well. So let us know. And I know that even though you're not a big soccer fan, the World Cup is like condescends like a whole nother level. Like, I feel like everyone watches the World Cup and everyone like the final, like you just care about it, you know? So obviously I'm gonna say who I support. I think it goes in order. I think I'm going Mexico.
Okay.
Obviously. Because I was born there. For those that don't know. And then 2, I'm gonna go USA.
Okay.
You know, because this is the greatest country in the world. And thank you for we have everything due to this country. You
Not
know?
sponsored.
Not sponsored by the USA, but I love the US, man. Shout out to the USA. And obviously we live here. Like, I feel like I shit on a lot, like the US team when they play Mexico. But other than that, I'm a huge USA fan. Obviously rooting for them. And fun fact, they actually play England, the people they got their freedom from, like, you know, the war and stuff.
Oh, damn.
On Thanksgiving. So that's going to be good.
Fun.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Obviously there's a lot of like animosity. Like we hate England. Like, you know, you guys, we belong or whatever shit like that history. And then, 3rd, I'm going to go Argentina. Obviously, I bought my shirt the other day at Abercrombie, babe. You know that. Messi is the sole reason why I'm going. I think he deserves a World Cup. And as soon as he gets the World Cup, then there will be no argument at all that he was the greatest soccer player of all time.
Damn.
Yeah. So who are you going for?
I'll go for who you go for, babe.
Mexico?
Yeah. Mexico, US, and Argentina.
Okay, babe. Glad because you were going to actually sleep outside if you said. No, but
I'm excited. I'm not excited, guys, because I already know, like, Jonathan's like, babe, this game is so important. Like, just watch Blanca for this game. Like, I already know. So we're going to have.
But it's once every 4 years.
Babe, and then you're just gonna miss out on his a couple weeks of his life just because it's once every 4 years. But actually, this is good that we're talking about this because in this week's podcast, guys, we're gonna go dive into a little bit of relationship advice when you are already a parent.
Yeah.
And compromise. I was about to say, like, we're gonna have to compromise a lot because I think compromise is the biggest thing about a marriage and like for relationships to work out. So
yeah, guys.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about this week.
So right after this ad, guys, we're going to give relationship advice from the ones we got emailed and how it ties to the World Cup and just changing life after a baby. So we'll be right back. And we're back, guys.
Okay.
All right, babe, go ahead and start.
So before we start, we do want to say that if you ever want to send an advice inquiry to our email, it is spillthebeansjj@gmail.com. If you have questions, anything, like you can just send it there. And we always do this disclaimer. If you guys want us to read your email on the podcast, just make sure it's short and sweet, bullet points, summarize it, put the juiciest, best details in it. And that is how you will get a guarantee read on our podcast.
Yep.
Because we open some and they're novels. And trust me, I want to read them, but you already know que me trabo when I read, so I can't be reading a novel.
Of that.
Me too. Okay, so this one says, "Hey guys, I previously left a message but realized I didn't leave enough details. So here we go. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 5 years and living with each other for 3. We have a 4-month-old daughter, and since she's been born, he has never changed a single diaper or helped me with bath time or bedtime or anything. I have to do everything by myself, including cleaning and everything else. And I just try to express how I feel, and it hurts because he just gets mad and fights with me, and I hate fighting as it just leads to me crying and not being able to communicate due to childhood trauma. I watch your podcast and y'all are always just like, oh, leave him or whatever. But in my case, it's not quite possible. Mm-hmm. We live with his parents and I have nowhere else to go. I don't have my parents and nobody wants to take me and my baby in while I have no job and no money for rent. I love my boyfriend. I just feel stuck. Thank you. I love you guys." And then, sorry, I have another one. But she says that her daughter will be 4 months old on November 15th. Her dad has never changed a diaper, pee or poop. Because I was going to be like, sometimes they don't do the poopy, but they do the pee-pee. But none. When she starts crying, he hands her straight to me. He barely holds her when he gets off of work. And he just expects her to do everything, including cleaning, the laundry, take care of the baby, bath time, feedings, crying, anything. She's like, I don't know what to do. I just wish I had someone like Jonathan, who is such a good husband and dad. Aww.
I can't remember the last time I held someone.
So we love you too, girl. And we honestly are sending so many hugs. I do want to start off by saying every podcast we say advice. Obviously, we always say, leave him, sis. What?
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's not professional.
It's not professional. And of course, we always coming from our heart because we see you guys as people that we love and care about, and we want you guys to be happy all the time. So of course, the one thing we want to say is leave him. But of course, in a lot of situations, it's not easy. So that's why I wanted to read this, because I did want to kind of retract from my just leave him, sis, to how can we help you even though you have to stay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, babe. She kind of boosted your confidence there.
No, but I think you should start, because we need to see like where you're thinking, because you've gone like you just had a baby. Like, what would you do if I was that guy? Besides, and you couldn't leave me. Like, put yourself in her shoes.
So I was gonna say, because thankfully, I feel like everything that I've gone through in life has led me to be a pretty independent woman, and thankfully, I have my own stream of income, and like I'm good. Thankfully, but if my life had gone any other way, then I would probably be like that. I'd probably be working at, I wouldn't say Dairy Queen, but the clinic, where I was making about $2,000 a month, which is not even what rent is. I feel like rent right now is like booming crazy, to like $3,000. So I probably wouldn't have money to pay rent. I wouldn't have money to buy diapers, maybe if the baby needed formula and all of that. And especially if I like lived with you and your parents, say, and didn't have my family. Oh my God, like that's literally taking away everything that we have now, and being like, I wouldn't know what to do. Like I would feel stuck, because if I'm talking right now, present time, and Jonathan wasn't helping me with Franco, if he wasn't doing this and that, I would leave you, and I would be like, peace out. If you're not going to help me, I'm not, it's like on TikTok, I'm not going to be a single mom with a husband,
That's true.
So I feel like it comes down to you. I feel like right now you probably feel a little bit like helpless because you have nothing to bring to the table. But I do want you to know that being a stay-at-home mom that doesn't go out and work and doesn't make any money, like you are already doing one of the most important jobs in this world. You are raising and creating this little tiny human from birth to until they're 18, so that is already hard. Like you can't sit there and think that you have nothing to offer, because that is enough, I feel like, and on the other side, I don't think that anyone is entitled to making you feel less than just because you can't go out and work, just because you don't bring money to the table, just because you can't pay rent or help with the bills. Because as I said, you guys are a team. you created this baby together, so you both have responsibilities whether you go to work. Like I was even thinking, say Jonathan still had his full-time job and he would get home, he would usually get home 6-7 p.m. Of course he would be tired, but I even now I'm like, if he was still working that job and he got home at 7 p.m., I would still make him take the Franco, and I would and I feel like in a sense you would still, even if you were tired, you would still have to, right? Like, don't you think que te nacería, or would you, do you think you'd be more inclined to being like, no, like I just got home from work, I'm tired?
I mean, you saw it with Ozo, and he's a dog.
Yeah.
Like I would take out Ozo before I left at 4 a.m, guys, to go pee in the snow outside. And then when I got home, obviously I would still give him all my attention and go on walks. And that's with a dog. Imagine if I had a little daughter, you know, you would have to struggle to get her off of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I feel like a lot comes into, it has a lot to do with you and how you carry yourself. I think that right now, maybe you're kind of insecure. Maybe you don't feel strong. Maybe there's obviously something within you that is making you feel super stuck and like you can't put your foot down. But just take everything away. You are a human, and you and him decided to create this baby, to bring this baby to the world. She is not at fault. She still needs a healthy, stable family. I understand that. So in this sense, I feel like my advice to you would be to kind of like
cheat on him.
Babe, why would you say that? No.
Go find yourself a good guy.
No. So this is coming from me, like knowing that you can't leave, that it's not possible, you have no one else. Even if like, yeah, you just still have to act like you're that bitch, you know?
That's what I was
like
gonna say.
You have to stand up and you have to put your big girl pants on and be like, you know what? Don't disrespect him, because obviously like that could lead to more arguments, but be like, you know what, I do enough by taking care of the baby all day, and you still want me to do laundry, you still want me to cook, you still want me to clean. The least you can do is take her off my hands so I could do these things, you know? And I think you just have to put your foot down, and you have to be a little bit hard on him, you know, whether you guys want to be a romantic relationship or not. Even if you want to be a co-parenting while still living together, you still have to tell him, if you want me to cook for you, if you want me to clean for you, if you want me to do all of these things, the least you can do is hold our baby. And you know what, I've seen a lot of TikToks where the guy's like holding the baby and it's crying, and then right away he gives it to mom. Oh, he's hungry, she's hungry. Oh, she wants the boob. Oh no, like if the baby's crying and you're just sitting there, you get up and you try to make the baby stop crying. Like, how many times have you had to do that with Franco, where you're like, yeah, you get stressed because you don't know what to do, but te paras, you try to distract him. No, look at the window, look at the dog, you know, like try to distract the baby as much as you can. And you need to literally feel like, even if you don't feel like you are that bitch right now, you have to put on like a persona, and you have to act like that bitch, because you are her. Like, you are doing so much already by taking care of the baby. The least that you can do is freaking tell him to hold the baby for 30 minutes at least, you know? That just kind of angers me, because as I said, like I would leave, but in the sense where you can't leave, you gotta, I feel like guys, we've said this so many times, a los hombres les gusta que los traten mal, you know? So, trátalo mal.
Yeah, so if you're like getting pushed around and you're still letting him like treat you like that, and you're not like, you know, being that bitch, then he's just gonna feed off that energy even more and be like, no, pues aquí soy.
Yeah, like he's entitled in a sense, you know, like he's probably like, oh, I'm bringing money home, she's living in my house, you know. It does not matter. Like,
not even his, he lives with his parents.
Yeah, it does not matter whether who you live with, if he's making all the money, if he's whoever the breadwinner is. No one, oh my god, I'm so sorry, but no one is entitled to make you feel sorry. No one's entitled to make you feel less than just because you're not making money. Because as I said, you're our full-time job, trying to keep the house clean, trying to cook, trying to take care of the baby. Like, I just sound like a broken record. You are enough. You are that bitch.
You could hit this from a lot of angles. Like, let's say, obviously I like pretend like I'm a psychologist sometimes, you know? So if I had this lady sitting on my sofa and I was like diagnosing her, I'd be like, okay, what I heard from this thing is that she still loves him. She's like, I love my boyfriend at the end, right? Or husband or whatever. And 2, in order for her to have had like a baby and she still loves him, that means that he was a great boyfriend before the baby was born. And judging from other experiences from like other people that we know, I don't know what happens, but like a switch flips for the bad side when a baby comes into their lives, or whether it's just pregnancy or when the baby's actually born, the guy just like turns off and just starts acting like a dick. So right there, I would be like, what happened what happened like when this baby was born? Obviously, you said you love him and that he's a great boyfriend, but then when this baby came, all of a sudden he just is acting stupid, you know?
Yeah.
So what's happening? Like, obviously, the first one that comes into mind, he's not getting as much attention as he used to probably, and he's kind of like jealous of the baby, or like that you're not paying, or maybe obviously women change their bodies. They like they don't do their makeup as often or look like as like, you know, stereotypical pretty, you know. So maybe that. So obviously the only solution I can come up with is, like Blanca said, you have to be that bad bitch. You have to, like, even though you might not be working or making any like financial contributions to the household, like being a mom is probably the hardest job in the world. Like Blanca sometimes leaves me with Franco for like 3 hours, and then I'm like, wow, like single moms that have to do it 24 hours. Fuck that. Like, that's the hardest shit in the world. Like, yo apenas puedo con 5 horas. Like, that's the longest Blanca has ever left me with Franco is 5 hours. And thank God he's a great baby, but frick, that shit was hard with a good baby. Now imagine like a crying, you know, baby for 24 hours. That's like the toughest thing. So my word of advice is, like, right now he probably sees you as this like weak, like she let herself go, she probably doesn't do this. So be that bitch. Like, do your makeup, like pretend like, you know, go out with your daughter, like walk, like do your makeup, pretend like, I don't know, make him like jealous, like, oh shit, like this is my wife, like she's still bad, you know, like she's still like, she, like, you know, on the vas, or like, why are you getting ready for? Like, all we need, like as guys, is to be put in check, you know.
Yeah. And you have to do that. I think he needs to see that you are still a strong woman and that you don't need him necessarily. You know, I think a lot of guys feed off of that, she needs me. So however I treat her, because we were put in that position. Yeah, you know, I remember at the beginning of the relationship, I was very, very, very codependent. Literally, if Jonathan was in a bad mood, I was in a bad mood. If he was happy, I was happy. Like, anything that Jonathan did impacted me so much. So I understand that, and I think in that sense, that's why Jonathan kind of took control over the relationship when you were like super toxic. And I think that I gave you the
well, yeah, you let it carry on, you know. I think that with this girl, like, you obviously, like, she gets, you have social media, like nowadays you can like go and get the likes from like someone else, you know what I mean? And that's what I meant by, like, obviously don't cheat on your husband, like that's fucked up, but like post pretty pictures with your daughter on social media. Like, when he gets home, don't try to hand her over the daughter and he'll be like, what the fuck, like she doesn't need me, like she's not giving me my daughter right away. Then that's gonna make him feel like, oh fuck, like even though I'm providing money, like she doesn't need me emotionally. Like, don't give up the cheeks, you know. Like, if he's treating you like shit but you still give it to him every night, like pues there he is, you know. Like like reserve yourself to the point where, like, no, like I don't care how much money you make, like I still hold the reins, because at the end of the day, guys, we're simple creatures. We all care. The only thing guys care about is like what's in between your legs and money. So like,
damn, babe, like that.
But in a good way, like I love you, and then, like, you know, and like money, like I want to take care of you. Like, we're not complicated beings. Like, we don't like look into the emotion side like you guys do, and oh my god, this is no, like, if you stop giving a guy your coochie, he's gonna straighten out. You know what I mean?
That's when things change.
It's like a horse. Like, if you don't give it water, he's gonna straighten out. You know what I mean? So if like he keeps treating you like shit and your daughter, and he's just like, you're still giving him everything that he wants, then, you know.
And also, I know it is easier said than done, because I just take me into like what into example. It took me how long? 4 years, right? Yeah. It took me 4 years to go into my bad bitch persona, to go into the I don't need you, I want you, and that's why you're in my life. You know, it took me 4 years, guys. It took me, like, I would say 30 breakups, you know, 30 breakups and makeups. And it took Jonathan a long time too to realize that, oh shit, like she doesn't need me. And like Jonathan said, there's so many things you can do. Like, okay, say he comes home from work, don't have dinner on the table, you know. Why isn't there dinner on the table? What do you mean? Like, the baby was fuzzy all day, I had to be with her, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Why isn't my laundry done? Well, did you grab the baby? Or did you at least separate the laundry? You know, like, there's so many things that you can, like, reverse psychology it, kind of. Because trust me, guys, I have so many friends, right? And most of our friends are married. And every time we all get together, obviously the guys go and do their own thing, and the girls come and do a little girl talk. And the one thing that comes out of these conversations is that we literally and you know this, we have to reverse psychology our husbands.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to. And you have to learn how to get in their heads. Like Jonathan said, if you're still giving up the cheeks at night, even though he treated you like shit all day, that's where you're wrong, girl. Like that, you cut a cold turkey. If he tries to, like, you know how you try to like feel up on you, he tries to cuddle you at night, hell no. Like, don't let yourself pretend you're asleep or even put up a fight. I don't care, but just don't let him get between your legs. And that, I think that is the first thing that you can do to make a huge impact. And the second, as Jonathan said, is get ready, make yourself feel like you're going out. Like, even if you're just going to take the baby on a walk, or even if you're just going to take a picture of the baby, like, get ready, do your makeup, and act like a single mom. If that's what he wants you to be, act like it.
Yeah, for real.
Literally, act like you don't need him. Act like you're gonna get ready. Who are you getting pretty for? Myself, or whoever wants to freaking tell me that I'm pretty, you know? Because I feel like guys just get into this routine, and he sees that you're not leaving you, so he doesn't have to change, you know?
Yeah, guys, I feel like maybe our advice might come out too harsh, like, because I think the boomer thing to say, you know, the old tradition is like, sit down, talk with him. You know?
Hell no.
But obviously, you already did this. You already told him, I want you to hold it. Why don't you hold your daughter more? You know, blah, blah, blah. So I think, you know, extreme cases need extreme measures. Like, you need to, make yourself feel like you're not alone anymore. Like, I feel like back in the day, like with our grandmas and stuff, like encerradas en la casa, y cook. If not, you get your ass beat.
Yeah.
You know, but nowadays, like, I know you might feel lonely and like helpless, like we said, but there's communities out there on social media with thousands of single moms, thousands of moms going through the exact same thing as you. Like, maybe you have friends from high school you can reconnect with, that they have cars and they can pick you up and go to the mall or eat, you know? Like, just don't give like your 100 and all to like this guy, because obviously your 100 should be going to your baby now and yourself.
Yeah, and I think right now you should just kind of sit and think to yourself. You've already, for almost 4 months, have already tried your best to make this work. You've tried your best to see it come from him. So now you have to take the lead, and you have to just step down, put your foot down, and change things for you. Because I know, as you said, that it's quite impossible for you to leave. Okay, so now you're going to go into the journey of really trying super hard to get this man to act right. Because at the end of the day, guys, you have to mold your partner. Like, like my mom always says, every guy is not perfect. Like, obviously you're not gonna find a guy and be like, this is a perfect guy. Every guy has his flaws. So what my mom had always told me is, like, you have to find your guy, the guy that has a little bit more pros than cons, and you have to mold him to be your partner, the partner that you want. And you have to make him treat you like you want, you know? Like, basically you have to choose the guy you want and struggle with that guy. And that worked out for me too, because I loved you, and I feel like I pretty much loved you unconditionally for the first 4 years. And now when we like got back together and like we did this whole like freaking breakthrough through our relationship, I think that's when you saw that, oh, she loves me, but she's not gonna put up with the shit that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know? So as I said, it took me 4 years, and it could probably take you maybe a year, maybe a couple months, but just start your journey right now. Just start little by little. And I know it's gonna be hard, but you know, at the end of the day, it's going to work out for you and your daughter. So,
yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I can't see, like, again, we go back to, I feel like I sound like a broken record with this, but like, at the end of the day, like, you're literally with a guy that doesn't like, no le like nace naturally, because as men, we've evolved to take care of our families. And that's our sole purpose in this life, is to look out for the ones, like, when we build our own little family, like, take care of them. So if your husband doesn't like kick the door down when he gets home from work to carry your daughter, like, that right there is like, what the heck are you doing? And this should have been something you should have talked to him before you had a baby. Like, obviously, it's like before we had Franco, like, before we even knew you were pregnant, like, how are you gonna act? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is stuff you talk about while you're eating freaking dinner on a Sunday night. Like, how are you gonna be with my daughter? Blah. If he told you, like, you know what, being a dad kind of scares me, I don't know if, then that should have been the red flag before you got pregnant, you know?
Yeah.
But now that he's there, like, I've had really, really hard job, guys, where it required me to carry a 50-pound saw and cut cement all day. My back burned and I was super tired. And sometimes I would smash my fingers from where I would twist bolts and stuff. But even then, like, knowing Franco right now and coming back home from that excavation job, like, I don't see a world where I wouldn't want to hold him, like, because I would come home and I would only have a few hours and then go to sleep and do it all over again. So in those few hours when I'm not shitting and sleeping and eating, Franco is with me at all times. You know what I mean? And I know it's easy to say like, oh, well, you're not going. No, I did go through it. I had some shitty ass, hard, like physical jobs. And I can tell you now that I have Franco, how am I not going to hold him 24/7 when I'm not home? You know, when I'm home.
Even if you're tired, like being tired isn't an excuse. And I feel like there's a huge community on TikTok of women that have gone through this. And they literally say like, you just have to put your foot down. You just have to put your foot down, and you have to be a bitch in a sense, you know, because both of you created this human. Both of you have to be parents to this human, whether you're tired. Like, how many times I'm talking to you, the girl that sent this email. How many times have you woken up super tired, or you're sick, or you don't feel good? And who's taking care of you? No one. So you have to take care of the baby, whether you're sick, whether you're tired, everything. So if you're already going through that, like the least he can do is help you for 30 minutes a day, you know? So you just have to, like that. There's no other thing that you can do but start being a bad bitch.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's like I feel like I said at the end of the day, like every time. No, but what's that saying? Like, make sure you choose a good. It's more important to choose a good dad than a good husband or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you should choose both, but like ya lo iba a decir otra vez.
At the beginning of the day.
At the beginning of the day, I feel like choosing a good father is the most important thing you can do, because once you have a kid, the love you have for that little being is like out of this world. So you want them to be taken care of. And if your relationship doesn't work, if things, you guys fall apart, at least you know that little being will have someone like another you to take care of them. As much as you love them, there's another person that loves them just as much as you and will do anything for them.
Yeah.
Because they get to see it having a boyfriend that like buys you flowers, ramos buchones, chocolates, Louis Vuitton bags. And then when it comes to having a kid, he doesn't want anything to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have like, a humble, like, oh, like, he's not really affectionate with me. He brings home, but oh my God, with my son and daughter, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that like, that is comforting. Like, I love you endlessly, but I know if we were to break up, Blanca isn't bringing any guy into the house like for a while, you know what I mean? Or my son's not gonna be like, Dad, like I have this stepdad that like fucking sucks, you know, like I'm comfortable. So I think that's the main thing. Like, I don't know. I think karma does exist. So if you decided to have a baby with someone, like, I feel like it was your responsibility also as a mom to be like, is this going to be a good guy, a good father,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of red flags at the beginning of the relationship. And like we have always said, don't ever think that a baby is going to bring like, or that it's going to make your relationship better, or that it's going to take all the problems away. As we have seen in many, many cases, a baby has just worsened the problems and has led to them leaving you. So now you're there alone. Well, oh my God, it's like not funny, but I saw this meme on Facebook. It's like, you thought that bringing a baby into the world was gonna fix your relationship, and look at you now, you and the baby are crying, you know? And that's true. Like, don't ever think that a baby fixes problems. Don't think that a marriage fixes problems. You have to be super picky about the person that you choose, because as we always said, like, I feel like there's kind of a, I don't even know what word it is, but you know how there's like kind of a myth saying that girls choose their husband like as a version of their dad, basically.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, guys, at the beginning of our relationship, when Jonathan was super toxic, he literally resembled my dad.
Me and your dad were like twins.
Yeah. And that I know that I had daddy issues, and I know that's why I was so codependent on Jonathan, and anything that he did would mess me up, So you have to kind of, I don't know, like, you have to realize that you don't get to choose your dad. You don't get to choose your brother. That's just what you were born into. You get to choose your husband. And why not? Why wouldn't you go out of your way to choose a wonderful husband, a wonderful dad? Because it's like Jonathan said, you have to trust this person enough that if you die, this person is going to take care of your baby with his whole heart, and he's going to create a healthy, happy baby,
Or not even like die. Like, if you want to go have a girls' night because you guys are divorced, like, my son is in good hands. Like, I was thinking that like, if me and Blanca ever broke up and she like,
you were thinking of?
No, I was like, if you went and had like a girl and it's like, oh, this weekend is yours, I'm gonna go out with my friends. Like, I feel like you would be comfortable enough to be like, I'm going out with my friends this weekend, please like look after him and whatnot. I would have a blast with a 5-year-old Franco, you know what I mean? We'd stay up late, we'd play video games all night, we would wake up, go to the lake, you know what I mean? So like, really take into, and I know it's like a lot of you guys are young, but there's people getting pregnant at 16. So it's never too young to think about, is this girl a good father / mom for my kid, you know?
Yeah, and I also don't want to sit here and be like, oh, we are the perfect parents and the perfect couple and we have the perfect marriage. We're not, guys. Jonathan, he was never a bad dad, obviously. But at the beginning, when the baby's born, there's a switch that flips in your body and you know, not like but you just naturally know how to care for the baby. You know that you have to feed him. You know that you have to comfort them when they're crying. Jonathan, nothing changes for him really. Like the only thing that changes is that now he has to take care of his wife and a baby and 2 dogs and has to take care of the whole household, and everything's kind of going to shit because the mom is unavailable completely because your wife is literally just there for your baby 24/7. So it's like Jonathan, there was no switch. It was just he had to learn how to be a dad. Yeah. There was nothing that naturally like that you fed him out of your body. No, like there was nothing like that. There was the only thing kind of bonding you could do is like hold him, try to do skin to skin stuff like that. And I think at the beginning, we've always said this, Jonathan was on survival mode. He was kind of mute the first month. Like I feel like we don't remember the first month at all. It was just a blur. So Jonathan didn't just, Franco was born and Jonathan was like, oh, I know how to be a dad. Like no, Jonathan is still to this day, like when Franco has a poopy diaper, he's like, babe, I know, like I'm not trying to get out of this, I just need your help, you know? Yeah. And as we're saying, like by any means, Jonathan was not a perfect dad. He wasn't like, oh, like this and that. No. But I do have to always say this. I had to do a lot of the work at the beginning, but you have to take into consideration that Jonathan did everything else, you know, like, oh yeah, I did Franco 24/7, anything that he needed, but Jonathan took care of the whole household. Who did the grocery shopping? Who did the planning, the cleaning? Like obviously my mom helped us a lot. Yeah. The dogs, who took care of the dogs, who took care of everything else, literally everything else. So we're not saying that, oh, if he's not present from day one, it just means he's a terrible dad. Like, no, Jonathan had to do other things too. And he's slowly, I feel like right now, Franco's going to be 10 months and you got the dad thing pretty much down, you know? Yeah. And it's still a little hard because Franco is still feeding from me 24/7. Like he doesn't take bottles. Like Jonathan tried to give him a bottle the other day and it was a shit show. So there's still things that he needs to adjust. But as he said, like as Franco grows older, and I know that he's like getting his nutrients from food, getting his nutrients from milk that is not mine, that's when I'm still going to be like, okay, I can go and have a girls' night, or I can go for 8 hours to do my hair and he's going to be fine with you. Mm-hmm. So you have to, like, we cannot stress this enough, guys. You have to be so picky with the person that you love, and you just have to talk about it before you get pregnant, before you get married. Like, do you want kids? Yes or no? Or how do you think you're going to be? Because obviously we're not the parents that we said we were going to be. I feel like there's some things that we didn't do. There's some things that we have done, and it's not going to be like to the T, but at least you get kind of the red flags and kind of like a look into how they're going to be as parents. Yeah. Because I don't know, you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life, and if you're not, he's still going to be a part of your life for the rest of your life because of the baby. So just make sure you pick a good one, or that you pick one that you can mold into a good one, I would say. Because it's hard. It's hard out here. That's
kind of hard, baby. This ain't Build-A-Bear.
Oh, well, it kind of feels like it was, babe. But also, like I said, it's never like, oh, que te le subas a tu husband, you know, like you never have to like treat him like he's not shit, because obviously like he's a wonderful person on his own. You just have to mold him to treat you like you want to be treated. But you have to do it, like you have to do slight changes, and you have to do all of this before you guys become parents, because trust me, when you are parents, I feel like the relationship suffers a lot, don't you think? Mm-hmm. A lot. So if you already don't have a stable foundation, then your relationship is going to go to shit. And I promise you that, because we've gone through it and it's hard, I think, you know?
Yeah, it was because like you said, females have this thing where like your body switches, you see the baby. And then what was kind of like sad for me was you hear these stories of like, when I hold my baby, like everything, like the switch flipped, or when I saw my baby, when they did this a day later, like boom. And I never really had that, guys. I was more into like survival mode for like the whole family. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get blinded by my son. Like, I remember as soon as he came out of the vagina, the first thing I did was like, I asked Blanca, like, are you okay, babe? Like, the doctor was like, look at your son. I was like, no, like, move him. I look by you know, like, I'm worried about my wife. Like, You know what I mean? Like it's the like, oh, would you pick your son or your wife during labor if you can only pick one? Like I'm picking my wife 1,000 times out of 1,000, you know. And then after I made sure she was good, she was happy, she didn't like, because you hear these horrible stories like once a baby comes out they go into like shock or their heart attack or something like that. So then once she was good, then okay, like, oh my god, my son, he has so much hair, you know. So as soon as we got home también, like he got sick, or no, he didn't want the boob right away in the first night we got home.
Well, there was no milk coming out of my boob.
So then I right away at 5 a.m. go to the store and buy formula. I do the dishes in the morning so there's a clean kitchen, you know. Like I don't know, it's for any dads or even moms out there, like if you don't get that switch, that click, like it's okay, like it comes eventually. And it comes in different ways. It doesn't have to be like that. Sometimes you just see your son like breathe funny or laugh, and then you're like, oh shit, like this is my, you know. I feel like for me it took like a good 3 months. I would say at 3 months, that's when he was like laughing and acknowledging some like you. And they're not just this little turd that just sucks milk and
Sleeps
makes my wife mad and sad and tired, and then she lets it out on me. And then, you know, at 3 months they're like, oh, like they know dad when he walks into the room. At 3 months they giggle when you tickle their armpits, you know. So don't worry if it doesn't come the first day, the first week, the first month you have a baby. Like it will come eventually. That's all I can say.
I believe that's something a lot of people struggle with, because as they say, you're kind of bringing a stranger into your life, and you just have to care for them, you know, and make sure that they stay alive and feed them and make sure that they're good. And I actually saw this from Hayden, you know, how he said he struggled with that too. Like he didn't have a connection with their baby as soon as it was born, because it literally is. It's a stranger coming into your home. And then, as Jonathan said, making your wife sad, angry, happy, and all of the above. And then kind of putting a strain on the relationship because you don't know how to communicate that, you know? So even if like, just because Jonathan didn't have a strong connection with Franco as soon as he came home, that didn't stop him from still being a good dad and a good husband, you know, like that cannot be an excuse at all. But Jonathan is saying like, there is some things that you have to understand from the man's perspective, is that he does, like his world just completely changed and he didn't have that bonding experience, you know? So, but regardless, like if I'm taking this like girl into example, say that, okay, he doesn't have the bonding with the baby, like she's barely about to be 4 months. But if he doesn't have that, then the least he can do is come home and do his own laundry, come home and help you cook dinner.
Yeah, like do everything. So you just have to hold your baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everything, laundry, cook, take you out to like, hey babe, like you've been like literally like Blanca, like last night we've had the roughest night, I would say. Yeah. I say we, but I mean obviously Blanca did 99% of everything. And I was like, wow, like I woke up in the morning and before you even like asked, like you're getting Starbucks, like I was already gonna get her Starbucks. I was like, today when we go eat, like she's getting whatever she wants. Like I don't care if she makes me drive all the way to Denver for something. Like I was like, I'm gonna spoil her today because she deserves it, you know. And that's because for one night, and I recognize that right away. So like the fact that this guy for 4 months hasn't recognized that, like that's a huge red flag, you know.
Yeah. So of course we're not going to tell you leave him. We know that that's impossible, but just start your journey. As soon as you hear this podcast, I need you to put your big girl pants on and start your journey to switching this guy over to be the boyfriend that you loved, but now a good head of the household, like a good boyfriend to you and a good dad to the baby and just a good person overall in your family. And hopefully, I know it might take a long time because as I said, it took me 4 years, girl, but it's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, like Jonathan says, it's gonna be okay. So, you know, just start the journey, girl. Please send us an update. We love getting updates on the email. Send us an update maybe in a year from now and tell me how it is. And hopefully, if things don't change in a year from now, hopefully you were able to get out of it, you know?
Yeah. Because you just have to, it feels like forever, but you just in reality have to endure it for like till the baby goes to school.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, fuck you. Like, I don't need you. I can work during my kids at school. I can go to the gym while my kids get like bomb, you know, like.
Yeah, dude, because, you know, I was on TikTok seeing that daycare is more than some people's mortgages, more than some people's rent a month. Isn't that nuts? And to think that these daycares don't even treat your baby like 100% perfect because they have a lot of kids to take care of. Like, that's some baloney. But anyways, here's this one, babe.
Oh, we have another one?
Yeah. This is the second one, guys.
Okay. Hi, J&J. Hopefully this gets to you because I'm stuck in a situation. I have been with my man for about 3 years now. Parentheses, not married and not living together, but we have a 3-month-old baby boy. Since the beginning of the relationship, I have always gave him all my trust. Nunca le preguntaba con quién andaba, nunca revisé su teléfono. Cuando él quería salir, él iba y no le decía nada. After having our baby, I stayed at his place for a while. One day, he fell asleep with his phone on, so I went through it and have found out that he had been cheating on me while I was pregnant. Being only a month postpartum, I decided not to let it slide for the sake of our family, but not too long after addressing him, he went out and cheated on me again while I was staying at his place. I found out and left his place, but kept in touch because of the baby. Now there is no bad blood between us, and now he's asking me to move back in. Part of me wants to have that family, and the other part tiene miedo de que vuelva a ser. Yo sé que ya cuando uno engaña a su pareja, pues todos dicen que lo deje y si lo hice, sí lo hice, but quiero saber si somehow our story can be different, if our relationship is even salvageable. Any advice / input for your girl? Damn, that's fucked up.
Not once.
That has no, like, that, like, I'm gonna be straight up for you.
There's no salvage in that relationship.
No, I'm sorry. I know a lot of women, like, this is the most common thing. He cheats on me, I have a baby, and I want the perfect picture family. I want the family Christmas photos. I want the posting on Facebook that we're at Cincinnati's. I want the,
Not Cincinnati's.
I want the picture perfect family, but girl, they get to see within that on picture, on video. If at home it's not okay, you know, that's all that matters. That's what's wrong with all these like social media influencers, because you look at these families and you're so in love with them. Like, oh my God, I love the so-and-so YouTuber family. I love so-and-so celebrity family. And then you find out that they're getting a divorce a month later, because obviously the things they post in their YouTube videos, they're not going to post themselves fighting, guys. They're not going to post themselves cheating. Like, look at the Ace family. Like, how much did we love them? I freaking love them. I love watching their videos with the baby L and their cars and their Lamborghinis. And then look what happened, like they're far from the perfect family. So I think that don't look for that perfect, like, one thing is getting cheated on, and one thing is getting cheated on while you're pregnant, and another thing is getting cheated on when you're postpartum. Like, that's not repairable. I'm sorry, that is not. Like, if he doesn't love you, like, when I would see Blanca pregnant with her belly, like, I could not, like, I loved her even more. And then when she had the baby, I loved it even like a million times more. And not once, like, obviously not that like I think about cheating, but like, you don't even want to like imagine going to the store without her. Like, imagine the rest of your life without her. So now that he has the balls to like put effort, because it takes effort to cheat. You got to hide your phone. You got to, go everything. And tell your wife you're going to go to the store, but you're actually going to go in and have sex. And then, so it takes effort. So if he has the effort to cheat while there's a baby that kind of looks like him at home, like, damn, that's not repairable. I'm sorry. And
trust me, like, I understand. I've put myself in scenarios. Like, I'm like, if I were to find out that Jonathan slipped up, maybe he was talking to someone else, maybe he was flirting with someone else, and we have this beautiful family, and this was the only time he slipped up. I don't personally think that if I forgave him, that I would be able to forget it and then still have a beautiful, happy marriage from here on out. I just feel like in a year from now, 2 years from now, I would still bring it up and be like, do you remember when you were doing this shit behind my back? So you have to think about yourself, guys. If in 3 years, you're going to still think about the fact that he cheated on you, not once, but twice, I don't see a world in which you can grow into like a much better relationship from this. Or, I just don't see it.
But that's gross. Like, he's sticking his wiener in like another thing during, which obviously can't be a good girl, because I'm assuming she knew, unless he's going to like a slutty place where they just have sex or something tender. But like, whatever he's sticking his wiener into can't be good, It's not like she's a librarian girl that like loves God, you know what I mean? And then he probably came home and then sucking in you. So like, that for me is like, wow, like, I can't fathom. I'm not here trying to get points from you girls. Like, I'm not here trying to like, hype me up in the comments, Jonathan. No, I don't really care about that, guys. I just cannot fathom, like, when I tell you guys how attracted I was to Blanca while she was pregnant and afterwards, like, it's crazy. So for him to like see you pregnant with a belly and like still like have the effort and time and energy to go cheat is like, wow, like.
And just trust me when I say this, there there are some good men out there that will not cheat. Like, I know people think, oh, like, everyone cheats, like you can just move on. No, I promise you, girl, if you leave him now when the baby's still little, you still have time to like rebuild yourself, maybe give yourself 1, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know, but I promise you, this is not the love of your life.
Yeah.
And even if you have a baby with him, it doesn't matter. You know how many stories there are out there? I'm going to plug in one of my favorite YouTubers, Scarelli. She had a baby with this guy when she was like 20, 21 years old. And then she divorced him because they were not in a good relationship. And then that same year that she divorced him, she found her now husband. But at that time, she was just trying to like, you know, heal herself from this relationship. So he her husband now like helped her get a good job, blah, blah, blah. A year later, they kind of started dating. And then a year later, I think they like got engaged, and then they're like happily married now, and they have a perfect family. And she's still co-parents, obviously, with her ex, like, you know, but she's happy. Like, you can literally see that this guy treats her so well. Like, she's so happy. So it's like, don't ever think that you have to stay with someone that cheated on you, especially someone that cheated on you twice. You know, like, there's someone out there for you. And trust me, this is not the love of your life. Nah, babe,
guys. I think you're not emphasizing like, you're just saying cheating and whatever, like, but like cheating pregnant and having a 1 month old baby, that's a whole nother. I feel like there's certain things, like if you do in a relationship, you'll never like, I feel like hitting is one. Once a guy hits you, he'll never, I won't hit you ever again, babe, please don't call the cops. No, he'll hit you again, or he'll hit your kids, or he'll hit the walls, and once a guy hits you, out. Once he, you know, what else? Like tries to use like sex, just like if he puts sex first, I think that's another thing. I think you've lost a guy at that point once he becomes so like sex focused. And third, it has to be like him cheating while pregnant / having had a newborn. I think those 3 things is like, there's no remedy. I'm sorry. Unless this guy goes and gets baptized in the River Jordan by Jesus Christ himself, and like becomes like, and isolates himself for 3 months, and like, and
never has sex again.
Yeah. And like it goes abstinent. Like, I don't see, like, once a guy does that, guys, it's like,
that's like a no for me.
No, I don't think, no.
No, like, you asked us, you think this relationship is salvageable? No, it's not. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that is so heartbreaking for you to hear. But the most heartbreaking thing, he already did it, you know? So if he already did this, that is your way out, girl. Like, do not stay with someone that hurts you on purpose, someone that knows what he's doing, and someone that does it twice. Because like you said, maybe like he could change. No, he can't. Because if you already did it once and twice, and you already forgave him, no, he's going to do it again. And then again, and then again, and then you're going to forgive him again. And then you're going to want to have this picture perfect family on picture, and then still go home and cry yourself to sleep every night because you think about the times that he cheated on you. So no, it is not salvageable. Get out. If you're already out, do not move it back in with this guy. Do not, no. Like, if you guys, because she said there's no bad blood right now. Okay, that's perfect. So now you guys are going to form a healthy co-parenting relationship. And that's it, because there is a love of your life out there. Whether you find him in 1, 2, 5 years, it does not matter. It's not this guy.
Yeah.
So get out, or stay out, because you already are out, you know? Sorry, that was a little bit harsh, but that's just, no, like, that is so heartbreaking. I just could not do that. So we're trying to help you out, girl. You're getting an input from 2 people that think that they know what they're talking about. So if you guys want to leave in the comments some advice for this girl, if you've gone through this, maybe you're a success story as well after you left your ex, let's encourage these girls down in the comments,
because one thing is that we used to give relationship advice. Like, I feel like when you guys would send emails before Franco, it was very much like, like without baby involved. But now that there's a baby, now that we have a kid, I feel like we earn our little like badge, you know? And there's a lot more badges that we yet to earn, you know, when our son starts dating, when our son is a toddler, and you know what I mean? Like, there's still like little badges we have to earn. But we've earned like, I as a man have earned the going through the pregnant with my wife, and then going through the newborn, you know? So as a man right now, I can tell you, like, if for me, I can be a witness for Gabe. I know Gabe loves Gabby 1,000 times more now that she's pregnant. I know Danny is head over heels. So like, if we're coming from these good men, guys, like, I'm telling you, there's no freaking way, like, someone could hold a gun to her head and be like, cheat on your wife right now, like she's pregnant. Like, no, knowing that what I've seen Blanca go through, her body change, the emotions that, like, no, like that's still like, that's so weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So no, just don't do it, girl. And if you guys are kind of going through something like this, I hope that this helps you out, because you deserve so much, especially if you're a mom. Being a mom is the hardest thing that you can do in your whole entire life. So you deserve a partner that is going to be there for you, that's going to come for you, love you, and does not have the need to go and cheat on you, whether it's emotionally or physically.
Yeah. All right, guys. I know a lot of you guys have been drinking coffee on your way to work or school. So we're going to be right back after this little pee break. All right, guys, that has been it for today's podcast. Hope you enjoyed. I think we needed we were due for like an advice podcast.
Yes, we were. And I'm glad that we talked about this, because as Jonathan said, we have this little badge now where we're parents, and now we can talk a little bit from experience of things. And I hope that like we always say, that we help at least one person out, guys. If we help one person, like, we're good. Like, that is the meaning of this podcast, is just helping someone out to get out of the like life that they're living, because life is short and you can be happy. I promise you that. And you deserve to be happy. Don't ever think that you don't deserve anything because of the things you've done or anything that you've gone through. Like, you deserve to be happy. And I hope that this podcast makes you know that you like the value that you serve in this life,
Yeah. And guys, take this, like, I feel like because our audience, you guys are like on the younger side according to our YouTube analytics. Take this as like a free, like if you had a subscription, you paid for like monthly for this advice that you're learning. And if you're on the younger side, like, this is a free subscription you get by just listening to us. Like, because we've gone through it. We've been together for almost 9 years. We've gone through the ups and downs, the toxicity, now the baby. So like, if you're an 18-year-old right now listening to this and you're like beginning to date someone, you're beginning to think about kids because you're 22 or whatever the case may be, like, consider this like a little guide. Like we said, not by any means we're perfect, but like, you're getting all this information, and then from this advice, from these emails, from other people and us, like, you know what I mean? One of my favorite things to do is pick the brain of like older people, because they're so like wise. And like, I feel like a lot of people, like, especially in the Mexican community, it's so sad. Like, they'll have like the grandparent living with them or something like that, and like, they see them as like an inconvenience, like a nuisance, like, ay, mi abuelita no más está, or like, mi abuelito ya ni habla, pero, or ya ni se puede parar o caminar solo, so I have to help him. Like, and we see it as such an inconvenience, but like, I love to talk to these older folks because they've gone through it, guys. Like, no matter if like they didn't have an iPhone when it existed or whatever, the times have changed, like, you get free information from them. Like, I remember talking to Blanca's grandpa when he was here, and like, those crazy stories he had about how his dad left him, and he changed his name over to his mom's last name because he wanted to like make her proud and stuff like this is stuff that I take in and I learned, you know what I mean? Like, how to be a better dad and a better grandpa when I'm, you know what I mean? So it's like, pick the brain of the wise people you have in your house, guys. It's like, it's truly like, I feel like our parents, they're trying to do the right thing when they're trying to give us advice, cuando nos regañan. But obviously, it's their first time being parents too, guys. So don't expect it to come out smooth. But I feel like grandparents, like they say, like, what's that saying, babe? Like,
I know what you're trying to say,
like,
but I don't
parents are bad parents, and then grandparents are like the good parents. It takes like grandchild to become a good parent.
Yes.
Something like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do.
So I feel like grandparents are like the best to like get advice, and like, because even though our parents might be like, ponte la chamarra, like, está haciendo frío, te vas a torcer, like, no seas menso. Like, that's what something my dad would tell me, right? But then if my grandpa's like, no, sí, hijo, no, mira cómo me duelen las rodillas de cuando no me ponía chamarra y pensaba que yo era el Juan Maguey, you know? So it's like, they're saying the same thing, but because a grandparent has experienced the arguing with their kids, you know, it comes out better, and they know, so they're more wise. So if you're Hispanic and you have that grandparent in your house living with you or with your aunt, and you're like, show them love. Like, today, please, like, call your grandpa, call your grandma, and show them some appreciation, porque pobrecito.
And talk to them. Like, just have a simple conversation with them. And even maybe you don't have grandparents, maybe you don't have a good father, mother figure, but like on TikTok, if you follow a lot of older folks, you will get a lot of advice too. The other day I reposted a TikTok from this guy who was like, the one thing I regret in life is not being a good dad to my first child. He's like, because that was my trial and error, basically. Like, he didn't know how to be a dad to his first child. So he's like, I did so many things that I'm not doing with my second child now that I feel like I regret it because my first child didn't get the best dad version of me. You know, so there's so many things that you can learn from other people, and I think we kind of want to contribute to that a little bit, because obviously we're not old by any means. We don't have 3 children. We haven't gone through like a lot of life experiences, but at least you can get something from this podcast, you know. And I hope it helps you just a little tiny bit in a little area of your life.
Yeah. And don't let anyone like push you aside because you're young and that you don't, like, we get those comments sometimes, guys, on this podcast. It's like, you guys are so young, like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, you haven't gone through it. Like, age does not matter. Like, how many years, like, I know 17-year-olds that have harder lives and have gone through it than 30-year-olds, you know what I mean? So age is just a number. Like, you don't pay attention to that. Like, if you have some shit going on in your life right now and you think you can help other people, then make your voice be heard on social media, TikTok. I'm sure there's people going through the same shit you're going through too right now, you know?
Yeah, I really hope you guys liked this podcast, and please go follow us on Instagram. It is Spill the Beans JJ, right, on Instagram? Yep. Because, guys, next week's podcast is going to be like, it's not going to be spooky in a sense, but it's going to be like, because I just feel like children are scary vibes, you know? And like, Franco just started doing this one thing that we're kind of scared about, girl. So go follow us on Instagram, because on Instagram we're gonna tell you what next week's podcast is gonna be about, and we need your guys' input. Like, we need your advice too, because it's getting scary out here now that he can like kind of blabble and like laugh at other things. So follow us on Instagram, because you will get a lot of more like behind the scenes on there, and you can see how you can contribute to the podcast. But also don't forget that our email is spillthebeansjj@gmail.com for any questions, any advice, or anything that you really want to tell us about. But yeah, if you guys want to be part of the podcast and you want to be featured on it, whether it's anonymous or not, follow us on Instagram, because that's where you get the juice, you know?
Guys, if you made it this freaking far, comment a Christmas tree for $50. Winner will be announced on our Spill the Beans podcast Instagram page. So make sure you don't just like comment, make sure you go follow the Instagram and stay tuned, because that's where we post our winners. Okay, we don't post them anymore on our pages. Go follow us there too, but like comment a Christmas tree on whatever you want. Like, if you were already gonna comment, just put it at the end, you know?
Yes. But thank you guys so much for listening to this week's podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.